my therapist had me talk about all the things that I experienced with my narcissistic father growing up and my alcoholic mother growing up. And I couldn't really feel anything. I couldn't feel myself. I couldn't feel anything regarding what had happened. I just had I had this need to talk about it. I had this need to verbalize what I had been through. And therefore therapy was super helpful. It was just a space where I could blah 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 blah. And sometimes my therapist would ask me, "So how do you feel about that?" And I would say, "I don't know. I don't feel anything. Yeah, I don't feel anything." Really interesting. And then at some point, I met a therapist that said, "Wow, I think if I experienced that, I would be really, really, really sad." And something inside me broke, a shell broke. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I should actually be really, really sad about that. I should allow myself to mourn. I couldn't yet, but I could sometimes see what was really, really sad when I told the stories of how my father beat up his girlfriends or cheated the government or was gaslighting, manipulating, degrading, all the things we all comes with narcissists. So sometimes when I told those stories, I could see, wow, I should be really, really sad about this. And I couldn't yet. And slowly, 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 that broke as well, so that I could cry and I could be, it was just not fair. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just a little girl. So that sadness came through. And I remember there was quite a few therapists who said to me, well, what you've been through would make me very sad and it would also make me very angry. And I would be like, I've never been angry in my life. Until I was 31, I had never been angry in my life. Because, of course, when you're living with a narcissist, you're not allowed to be angry. And the narcissist will think that you're taking up too much space and ridicule you or degrade you. So I hadn't felt any feelings in my upbringing. And now I started to feel all the good feelings and get to know them. And this video is partly to those of you out there who are on this path, this healing path, and are impatient or thinking, oh, it's going nowhere, nothing is happening, I'm not healing. Be patient. Be patient and keep talking about the emotions you should have, because sometimes fake it till you make it works really well for healing. I should be really sad about this. I should be really angry about this. And I wasn't. And I can't feel it. So it took me 20 years to allow myself to find the courage to actually feel what I felt. And it was beautiful. When in the years where I had opened up for my sorrow and my grief and my sadness, but not yet for my anger, I had this saying, I have a river of rage running underneath everything I do, and I don't know what to do with it. So I knew it was there, and I acknowledged my anger, but I didn't know what to do with it. And for probably 10 years, when I discovered my anger and I began to honor my anger, I had 10 years of being angry all the time. I was angry at everybody and everything, and including me, of course. And he took his own life in 2011. And I felt that it set me free, but I was still carrying a lot of unprocessed emotion around who he was and what he did to me and to the people around him. And it wasn't until someone said, Mette, you are living in the past. You are holding on to your pain. You are making it the purpose of your life, that I could see, holy fuck, they're right. I am making my pain the purpose of my life, because it's in everything I do. I'm a psychotherapist specializing in narcissism. I write books about narcissism. I do online courses about narcissism. I have webinars about narcissism and coming through a narcissistic childhood and surviving and how to deal with narcissists and all that. And suddenly I could see I'm holding myself hostage in this life that I don't even like. That is just complaining, it's my father's fault and he was an asshole, and I published another book about how awful narcissists are. And this is not in any way to degrade people who are living with narcissists and struggling with these problems right now. But for me, it was an excuse to not move on. And finally, when I turned 50, one morning I was sitting in the sun in my favorite chair, and it was like it just let go. Poof. Like suddenly all the resentment and the anger and the sadness and everything was gone. And it was not pleasant, because where all that had been, me identifying as a victim, as I am the daughter of the narcissist, I have a voice, and I will use that voice to help everybody else who has narcissists in their life. I was holding myself hostage with that. It wasn't good for me to keep talking about it and holding on to it. Even when I was helping people, I was helping a lot of people. I've had thousands of people in therapy and thousands of people reading my books. And at some point I realized I'm keeping myself stuck here. And so I decided to change that. And I asked myself, what would I do if I could do anything with my life now that I'm free of what has defined me previously? And my first thought was give everything away and start traveling. And I was in the middle of a divorce back then, so that was perfect timing. I gave everything away and started traveling. That was in 2017. And here I am, 8 years later, married to the most amazing man in my life, traveling the world, feeling so much compassion for my old self and who she was, and feeling so much love for who I am today. And I am a person who sometimes say, when someone asks me, do you want to tell me your story? Or, was your father famous? Don't I know him? I will say, I don't want to talk about that. It's in the past. And what we do when we close that door, and it shouldn't be, I don't want to talk about it because I haven't processed the emotion. It should be, I don't want to talk about it because it's not giving me anything joyful, right? It's not giving me anything new or joyful or a great insight or anything. It's just blah, 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 blah about, oh, it's so sorry. And we need that for a time. But at some point, we have to let it go. And what I realized is that we can hold a certain amount of energy in our sphere. And because I had been holding on to that victim energy for so long, I didn't have room for anything else. And when I let that go, there was a big, big hole in my life. And I started traveling and became a digital nomad. And the first few years, I was still doing therapy and writing books and all that. But slowly, I let it go. And I started to realize that's not what I want. This is not who I am. I want something else. I want to dance barefoot in the sunset. I want to have weird named drinks with friends. I want to laugh and have deep conversations that are about what we appreciate in life, not where we come from or who hurt us or how it feels to be that little girl who disappeared. So this channel, which is Reclaim Your Peace, has been a place for victims of narcissists to find solace, and I love that. And I want to pivot now. I want us to move towards standing in our power and living our potential and being our best version of ourselves all the time. And I want to ask you, there we go. Are you with me? Are you willing to grow? Are you willing to let go of what no longer serves you? The stories, the identity, all of it, and step into who you were before all of that. That beautiful, beautiful little human being that was born into this world with so many opportunities and possibilities and skills. Are you willing? Then stay tuned. Okay. See you soon again. Bye.